What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's going on? I'm back. I had to run a little bit of an errand in the morning. Kind of wanted to pop on here. Market's reversing just a little bit here. So we are getting a little bit of a bounce, right? We're getting a little bit of a bounce. One thing that I do want to touch on, guys, I've done something very, very special, very, very unique for all of you guys. I know a lot of you guys wanted the live streams. You guys wanted to know what's going on my screen. Maybe it helps you guys a little bit identify some of these levels in real time. Guys, I've made this accessible to everyone. So in the past, I was only selling like a lifetime membership to Evolution Traders. What I have done has scrapped that lifetime membership. I've made it easy and accessible for everyone to get into the room. In the room, you're going to get daily watch lists. In the room, you're going to get live trading floor action. In the room, you're going to get these daily live webinars in the morning off the open. You're also going to get access to the courses. You're also going to get access to video lessons. You're also going to get access to one-on-one coaching. You're also going to get access to mindset help. Guys, if we can invest in ourselves in education for less than $1 a day, what are we really doing, right? What are we really doing? Again, that link is down in the description box below. But what we're looking for here on the video, nice little bounce, right? And so a good little recovery on the video. So one thing that I do want to really point out here is that if we look at the sell-off, right, where I know a lot of my guys in the room, we all made money short this morning, right? I kind of flipped long right now. I'm currently sitting in a long position, but when we really took out the pre-market lows, right, those pre-market lows that were taken out here at 499 came all the way down to the 20-day moving average. I was letting everyone know this morning in the live stream that, below this 20-day moving average had room down here to the lower channel, right? That lower channel got confirmed here, that price of around 478, and we actually put in a low of around 474 on NVIDIA. So, why are we bouncing, right? What's going on here? Like, why such the massive sell-off, and now, why the bounce? This is a very significant area, right? This is back to its original breakout spot. And where the hell's my drawing tool at? I got to pull out the drawing tool. I got to have the drawing tool. So, what I kind of want to show you guys here is give me 1 second while I get all of this stuff loaded up here, guys. What I want to show you guys is, why is this doing this? Give me 1 second here, guys. One second. So what I want to show you guys here on this NVIDIA trade, okay? On this NVIDIA is, we came back to this breakdown spot, right? So, if we look at yesterday's price action, we look at the big run up that we had in the after hours here on those earnings, we consolidated essentially in the pre-market and we pulled right back, right? So we pulled right back. Now we're consolidating, and here we go for a little bit of a bounce. Again, what you want to see, NVIDIA is not out of the woods yet. NVIDIA is, nowhere near 520, taking out these highs. We would be looking for a run up into the 90s to get rejected here in the 90s, 91, 96, 95, in that area. That's what we would be looking at on NVIDIA. Now, if it is going to be a strong move, and this is just, a big earnings breakout, consolidation, back test, we're going to look for that new high over 520 in the weeks to come here. But again, if we continue to bounce and we get rejected under that 500 mark and we start to stall and we come back down, if we lose this rising 50-day moving average here, NVIDIA is in a whole fucking world of hurt, right? So anything below this 50-day moving average here, 470s, 473s, it's got room all the way down to 461. Again, not saying that that's going to happen, but right, guys, as traders, we have to be prepared on both sides, right? So we need to understand, potentially where this could be heading, right? If things start to, not play out right? So what I'm looking at here on the bounce, if I go down to a smaller time frame here, I want to show you guys how maybe we got a little bit of an entry here. So by looking at the 5-minute time frame, guys, let me zoom back a little bit so you guys can see the chart. Again, 5-minute time frame. Notice the sell-off in the morning, right? And one thing that I kind of want you guys to pick up here, is this, right? Look at the big sell-off in the morning. Look at the 200-day moving average, right? If you can't read this chart, join Evolution Traders. I'll teach you guys how to read this chart. Links down in the description box below. I made it very accessible for everyone to kind of get in the room now. We're talking less than a cup of coffee a day, guys. But what I'm looking at here is underneath the 200-day moving average on a 5-minute time frame. Again, we're day traders, we're scalpers. Look at the close below. That price was sitting at around 485. The confirmation came at 6:45 in the morning, and you could have actually taken this trade down from 485 all the way down to 474. So almost a dollar move that you could have taken off the stock. Now, your 1 bar stop, right? Your 1 bar stop would have been the candle that closed below the 20 period moving average. So it would have been a stop around 494. Again, 485 was the entry point. Now, if you want to tone down that risk a little bit, because that's a humongous candle, right? We don't want to give ourselves that much risk. One thing that we can do is, if we lost the 200-day moving average, right? This is the reason, this is the reason why we want to get into the trade, right? The loss below the 200-day moving average here, this was our entry. Well, then why not set a stop if we start breaking back above the 200-day moving average, right? So we get the what, guys? The breakdown, the retest, and then we sell on the new low. Okay, that's how it works. I mean, how many times do these setups happen? All day yesterday we were trading the breaks, the retest, and then when we took it out the second time, boom, we were full go, right? Full go. Whether you want to call it, you want to call it a bear flag, a breakdown, you want to call it, a loss of the 20-day, 200-day moving average. Doesn't really matter what you guys want to call it. The point is that, stocks are going to trade from a level of demand to demand, right? And then from supply to supply to supply. So, the bounce spot, in this area here is very, very firm, right? That's a very, very firm area that we kind of created this floor here. Now, if we just look at the strategy that I teach over there at Evolution Traders, look at the first time we close back over the 20-day moving average. We close over the 20-day moving average here at 9:05 Pacific Standard Time. So if we're looking for the reversal in short-term trend, 9:05, you get your close over the 20 SMA, 481.15, 481, about 481 exactly. Over 481, right? So drawing tool, here it comes again. 1 bar stop gets set there, pivot gets set there, entry candle here, boom. Take this SOB for a ride, cash out into your next major area of supply. It's as simple as that. The market was trading below, right? We're trading below. Do you guys see this? Below this purple line, that's below the 20-day moving average. So the first time that we got back above it on this slightly intraday dead cat bounce, what do we want to do? We want to put our money into this candle, let it consolidate, and we want to sell on the next high into supply. Now, that next run that we would have sold that, personally for myself, I would have been selling into this 50-day moving average. So I would have been getting out of this trade at around 487. Entry price would have been 481. Guys, 6-point move. This is a 6-point move on a stock. Now, again, the premium price came down on NVIDIA. Now the earnings and everything are all out of the way. We're looking at about normal pricing again for the NVIDIA, at the money contracts, whether that be, $400 or $500 a pop. It was better, a whole lot better than what I was paying yesterday at around $2,000 a contract. I couldn't even really stomach, paying that much. I had to really size down. Again, let's kind of see what the NASDAQ futures are doing here. So again, NASDAQ futures took a very big beating here. Again, we got that 20-place setup that I teach over there at Evolution Traders, that 20-place setup that came at around 6:20 in the morning, guys, 6:20. On the live stream this morning that I'm doing for everyone that's in the room, in the communities, those live webinars, 15,322. That was the level, right? That was the level. If some of you guys have a hard time understanding my chart, look at this chart. This dotted line, 15,322. Let's get the confirmation. Let's throw our money into this candle. Let's set a 1 bar stop. Let's take this baby to the promised land. This was a 100-point drop off the open. I know a couple of guys on the live stream this morning took this position. Didn't take obviously the whole 100 points, but they took some points on the way down. And that's what it's all about. Getting in, getting green, getting the hell out, going about your business, going about your day. So the next breakout spot, the next area that we had as support that I was looking at was this spot here, right? So this spot, if you guys notice, right, this spot here, let me actually put a line here. This spot here was the next spot that I was looking at. And what I was looking at was the first hour's lows, right? First hour's lows. If they get confirmed, we got a little bit more room down. That price was in the 80s. If any of you guys were watching the live stream this morning, that price in the 80s had room to the 60s, and we wanted to take profits there. That was another little bit of a scalp. And then below the 60s and 50s, we had that, you know, kind of firm support, that firm support at 15,118. Okay, like 15,118. That's what I was looking at, right? Was the 15,118, and that's down here, right? That's right here. And I was thinking that this area was going to hold and we were going to do something like this, right? But you know, that never happened. I mean, the market had other plans. It continued to flush. So anyone who caught that move today, that extended move, even through the breakdown of that last support on the 1 hour time frame through the 15,118, I mean, congratulations, right? I mean, you took another 80 points off that, essentially from our initial breakdown spot that we had here of 300s. I mean, we're down almost 280 points on the day. I mean, this is life-changing for some people. You know, even seeing moves like this, you know, get me crazy, because you know, you never catch the whole move, right? And it's like when you look back at the move, it's like, man, you know, it never really gave me a reason to get out. But you know, that's the name of the game, right? You get into these plays, you start making money, and then you sell for profits. But I mean, again, you know, everything's 2020 in hindsight, right? So obviously, looking at the chart now, we had two visibly clear areas. Obviously, the first one from the live stream this morning at 15,322, I mean, ran for 280 points. And then we had the next one in the 185s, right? So 15,185 on the NQ. I mean, even that is down 150 plus points. So, you know, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Give me 1 second here, guys. Yeah, so I mean, you know, it is what it is, but even the ES. So I had a trader in Evolution today that was you know, talking to me about, you know, they took this first short setup here, right? So, you know, kind of waited off the bell here. Look at the opening candle was here, right? So our opening range break was the opening candle here. Took this for a little bit of a ride, you know, below this pre-market action. Again, that entry price was 44.61, and within 5 minutes dropped down to 44.55. I mean, guys, we're talking about, you know, a 5-6 handle move, on the ES within a matter of 5 minutes. Now, again, one thing that I want to point out here is if we kind of look at the action that was trading in the pre-market, right? Look at this action that was trading in the pre-market. We get the breakdown. What happens next, guys? Back test, reject, boom, now it's go season, right? So start identifying those patterns. Anytime you have a level of consolidation, look for the breakdown, look for the new low, look for the back test, and then when you get rejected, look for the confirmation of the continued flush. Those plays are perfect. So even if you're going to play the 20 SMA strategy that I've been teaching a lot of you guys, you can get in, right? If you miss the first move, let it bounce. Go ahead. Don't get too happy about taking the long because our move is to the downside, right? No, there should be no reason why we would have been looking for the long this morning. So when we lose this 20 SMA, we can go ahead and set our pivot there and get into an entry price here, set that 1 bar stop, and then just ride this baby down into the next level of support, which is 44.25. And you know, if you really look at it, your entry price was 44.46, so you're looking at a 20 handle move on the ES in a matter of an hour's time. I mean, that's killer, right? I mean, on the ES, 20 points, that's an insane. So it is what it is, but those are the levels that we were looking at. And I'm going to bring up the, you know, the big chart again, because I'm going to start scanning through stocks. We might have some areas of opportunity, maybe for some of these stocks that are getting rejected, or let's see if the market wants to continue to push. But you know, just looking at the 5 minute time frame here on the ES, big flush down, a little bit of a dead cat bounce, setting up, you know, a little bit of a bear flag here. Again, you know, nothing too crazy to kind of, you know, race into a short position here, but you know, if we do close below this 20 SMA that we just broke below, we would need to confirm it, and then we would be looking for, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 handles on the down move back into you know, the double bottom here at around 44.08. Again, let's take a look at Tesla really quickly. Tesla had a nice big drop off the open as well. Came down to that floor at 229. That was also a stock that I traded this morning on the live stream, and I wanted you guys, I was talking to you guys this morning on the live stream, for those guys that are in Evolution Traders. What I was looking at here, right? What I was looking at was the first hour's candle, right? I was looking at this first hour candle. And if you notice the first hour candle, there was a sneaky entry here below pre-market lows, right? That 238 level. Again, experienced scalpers only on that. But if you would have waited 30 minutes after the market to open, let this candle put in a high, put in a low, and then kind of evaluate the chart, like really sit here and evaluate the chart, right? And notice, you know, where is the next area of support that if confirmed, I have room to potentially make some money. So notice this blue line here, notice this yellow line, notice how close it is to the first hour's lows. If the next candle can confirm, I know that we had room down here to the next area of demand. Then what you do is you analyze how much space was actually in that trade. 231.50s down to around 228. We're looking at $3. Is $3 enough for us to get into a trade? Absolutely. If it is $1, you know, 50 cents enough, probably not on a stock like Tesla. You know, if we're talking about AMD or we're talking about Apple, you know, maybe 50 cents, 80 cents, $1 is enough. But on a stock like Tesla, $3 to the next area of support is definitely enough room for us to take this trade. And that's exactly what I did this morning was, you know, I took that breakdown, the confirmation at the 7 o'clock candle here, Pacific Standard Time. As soon as we confirmed the first hour's lows, and as soon as we broke down below these two support levels here, I took this for a little bit of a ride. And I kept telling everyone, you know, 229, 229, 229, that's potential, that's potential, that's potential. Why was 229 potential? If you kind of just go back in time here, right? Let me just kind of scroll back a little bit. If we look at 229, okay, 229 going back to Tuesday was the lows. When we hit that low, we bounced, we came right back down, tested it, lost it, but bounced off this 50 SMA. So this 229 was a big spot here. It was a big spot here. You can see now the third time for the third day in a row, Tesla has tested this 229 area. And every time that it gets down into this area, it bounces. It gets down into this area, it bounces, right? So how big is the bounce going to be this time? We don't know. Obviously, if I knew that, I would lay everything that I have, mortgage my, you know, my kid and in my house on this play. But again, you know, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea, what we would be looking for now going into tomorrow on Tesla. If Tesla starts to lose today's lows, it's a 100% short. Okay, we are now looking at a 3-day range on Tesla. Either Tesla's going to bounce and we're going to make a little bit of money on this dead cat bounce back up into 240, or right, or we're going to get rejected midway and then lose 229. Now, if we lose 229, 100% full send. Let's go short below that 229. And let me get the exact price here because I'm going to actually put this for the guys in the room. But below that 229, 228 and some change. Okay, so take the low wick from today. Take the low wick from today is right here. That price is 228.16. Okay, so below 229, taking out 228.16 is taking us below this simple moving average 100, right? The 100 simple moving average, that's this line here. That's exactly where we came down to and we bounced. So if tomorrow we lose 228.16, full send, we're taking a short position. Our first target is going to be 226.50, and anything below 226.50, we're going to ride this son of a bitch to 221, okay, on a runner. That's just the way that we're going to look at it, right? We're not even going to hesitate. We've already done our homework today. We already see the levels. We see where we came down into today. It's right here, and I just moved my dotted line to 228.07. We see it, guys. We don't need any more confirmation. How much more confirmation do we need, right? Now, as far as a long position, what do we got on the long? You know, Tesla's at the bottom of the range, as stated, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times the past 3 days in a row. What do we want to see? You know, for me personally, I'd like to see it get over 237. You know, if we can close over 237 on a daily candle close, I'll be back re-interested in going long on Tesla. But you know, I mean, it's got some work to do, right? Like it's Tesla's got some work to do as far as to the long side. Like, for example, if the market would have sustained and it would have held those Nvidia earnings highs, if we would have held that gap up, Tesla looked beautiful over 244. Okay, over 244 on Tesla looked beautiful for a nice run. And what we would have been targeting, right? What we would have been targeting on the daily chart over that 241 into that 243. And if anything closes over 243, 244 on Tesla, back to 250, right? Like that's what looked good to start the day. But we've given everything back. So here we are. Taking a look at Amazon as well. Now, one thing I want you guys to notice on Amazon from the daily chart, right? And I'm going to adjust this line here because the short position already happened this morning that I alerted on the live stream. But anything below 131.50 on Amazon, 100% short, right? We're looking to take profits at 130.5, so $1 down. And if we break through 130.5, we would be targeting 128. Now, why I'm looking at Amazon and why Amazon will continue to be on watch. If I just pull out the drawing tool here, we had the highs at 143. We put in the drop the first time to the 50, right? On the daily chart. Then we bounced. What is this setting up to do? Put in a new low, correct? Now, what would kind of offset this putting in a new low? Would be hold and then bounce back up to the upside. And what do I need to see on Amazon? I need to get over 138. Okay, I need to get over 138 on Amazon, and I need to put in a new high, however that high may be. It's not going to be that high, so let me take that off. Actually, I would look for something like this. Boom, and then come out again like that. That would be the type of pattern that I would look for to really, you know, kind of wet my beak a little bit to want to go long again on Amazon. But as of right now, I'm looking for the short position. So first leg down was to the 50 SMA the first time, a little bit of a dead cat bounce that got rejected here. And I'm looking for the flush this way. And I will look for the new low somewhere between 130 and around 128. I'll look to take profits in that zone, and then I'll wait for the back test and, you know, see what we do here. And if we can't sustain the back test, then I would be looking for the next continued low. Again, who knows how long they want to sell the market off. If anyone thinks that the market is oversold, you're absolutely out of your mind. You're absolutely out of your mind. The market's far from being oversold. When the first 6-7 months of the year, everything's essentially been going straight up. So, I mean, we could pull back. I mean, Amazon can pull back legit, guys. It could pull back to like 118 and still look good long. Okay. You know, don't bite my head off. I'm just saying, you know, like there's no like real, like significant and throw the baby out with the bathwater type of, you know, problems until, you know, realistically, we probably break down below 118. And then, you know, from there, it would have a super fast flush into 109, just looking at the weekly chart. But again, you know, that 131 level on Amazon, 131 level, I'm looking at the weekly chart right now. So notice the weekly chart. Let me take this shit off. Notice the weekly chart last week where we stopped. Okay, 131. Notice this week how we're putting in this inverse hammer. If we take out 131, we could be coming down to 127. That's what I would be looking to target going into next week, if the move wants to continue to back test. Same thing here with Apple, guys. So if we kind of look at Apple on the weekly chart was rejected. Apple on the weekly chart was rejected at it's 5 SMA. Okay, so it's 5 SMA was rejected this week on Apple, and now we're starting to roll over a little bit here. So if next week we start to really give up 173, has room down to 171.5, and anything below 171.5 could fall pretty quickly to 166. So definitely want to keep your eyes on that to the short side if the market continues to roll over. From a daily perspective, you can see here, if we do close below 177.20s, that's an easy short position for tomorrow. I'm even going to look at the short position tomorrow on Apple through the 5 and 10 day moving average at 177.10s. Because again, the narrative is the same, guys. Big drop, dead cat bounce. If we start to lose this level, What's the next potential area? 170, right? And then from here, look for consolidation, dead cat bounce. Again, either we're going to get rejected in this zone again and come back down, or you start to confirm. So the faster you guys can start identifying, you know, the macro overview and the macro picture of where potentially these stocks can be heading, is going to give you a good kind of, it's going to give you a good idea of where you should be looking to day trade on a day in and day out basis, right? So again, you know, that's just how you kind of play it. If you look at AMD took a nasty slide as well. So this is essentially a 4-day engulfing candle here on AMD. If you look at the daily candlesticks, we got up to this 20-day moving average, fell shy of the 50, and got sold off aggressively. The short position that I took this morning on the live stream was 105.70s, right? So that 105.70s was the area I was looking for. And the reason I was looking at that is the first hour candle, right? Look at this first hour candle here. Look at the lows. Look at the second hour candle, how it takes out those lows of 105.70s and drops down to a price of 104.80s. Then it bounces, right? So you got to be cautious, because when it does bounce, you have to kind of limit your risk to the upside again if it starts to fail. But realistically, you know, as long as it's still below, or excuse me, the daily chart here, as long as it's still below, you know, these prior days kind of supply zones, right? If you look at the hourly chart, first hour lows here at the 105.77, right? So look at that low here. That was the short position from this morning. This position here. I was looking at the daily chart earlier if some of you guys were confused. But the 1 hour chart here, right? So that first hour's lows off the bell, that's what I was essentially looking for. Now, again, there was aggressive scalpers and evolution traders today that took the pre-market low break, which was here. So they rode this whole candle down and got out. You know, while I'm getting my chart set up and getting the live stream ready for everyone, I got traders in my room who, you know, they're cashing out on the day and going to the beach, right? So it's like, but again, you know, the point is like, you don't have to catch the first move. You know, if the move is going to be strong, you're going to get that second entry after the opening range. And the opening range is the first 30 minutes after the market. So I don't care what anyone tells you. You can definitely look at, you know, where we closed to the low side, where we closed to the high side in the first hour, right? Which is the first 30 minutes after the market. And then from there, you can kind of do your analysis. Well, how much space do I have down, right? How much room do I have? And then from there, you can decide whether it's a trade that you want to get into. Now, for me, below 105.75, the next area of support that we had was sitting at 102, right? 102. And this thing got all the way down to $100.92. Guys, that's like a $4 move on a $100 stock. I mean, you can't even ask for a better move. I mean, today was almost picture perfect as far as setups that you could have taken, right? And again, you know, I didn't catch the whole move, obviously, you know, never works that way, but you know, below 105, you just start selling for profits on the way down. You're able to take $1.25, especially on a smaller stock like this. You know, that's all you need on decent position sizing. 10 contracts, you know, $400, $500, $600, $700 is what you can take off these moves in a matter of 30 minutes to an hour, right? So, and you know, the market's starting to hold down here. We do have bottom hourly support down here sitting at 102. So, you know, if you're kind of wondering, you know, why, right? We're also coming out of the New York lunch hour. So, you know, let's see what they want to do with the market. Let's see if we can find this setup here. So again, you know, if the market wants to hold here, you have this 20 play that's setting up here on the NQ 15005, right? You can definitely take this long into 15034. That's something that you could definitely look at. Right. So your stop would be, you know, 14,981. 14,985, and then your entry would be now, and then you would be looking to target right back up into this 5-minute Bollinger Band. But again, you know, the market's choppy right now. It's like you're not getting a lot of moves. So again, you know, maybe use 8.9s or 8.5s as a stop, 80s as a stop, and then you're trying to sell 10, 15, 20 points higher. You're essentially just looking to see if we can, you know, try to continue to like stretch up to the upside here on the NQ, give us a little bit of breathing room. Like I said, you know, the 15005 area was the entry, and then, you know, currently up 5 handles now. But I would like to see this explode back into this consolidation here, explode back into, you know, the 20s into the 30s. That way it really gives you a nice run up where you can take profits. But again, if it can't do that and they push the price back down through your reason why candle through the, you know, 80s, you've got to get out, right? So again, riskier type of play, but like you can see the reason why it might work, right? Like, you know, we are coming off of some extended selling down here to the bottom. We're trying to put in a base, right? However, if we can't hold this base, then we're going to come back down into this range. So again, like a hard stop would be here. And why I say this is risky, especially for people with smaller accounts, is because, you know, this is nothing more than a bear flag setting up, right? You know, in order to get out of this bear flag, we need to get over back into this range here over 15,118, and that's a long ways away, right? That's a long ways away. The trend is down today. So, you know, the bears are definitely your friend on a day like today, where, you know, one trader might have more success, you know, shorting at levels of consolidation, shorting at levels of supply versus trying to bounce everything. You know, and that's a problem that I do see a lot of traders run into, is they feel, you know, we're oversold here, they bounce, they get stopped out. They feel we're oversold here, they bounce, they get stopped out. Oh, well, we consolidated here, so they think that it's the bottom and they get stopped out, right? I mean, how many times does that happen to you guys, where you guys constantly feel like the market can't go down? So Marv, you're still not stopped out yet, buddy. Your stop out's here. The entry was correct, but the stop is here. Let me make this clear. Stop is here. Like that's the play I was just explaining here. The thought process is right? The thought process is right on trying to bounce this here. You do have room into the 20s and 30s earlier at 12:35. Oh, I'm Pacific Standard Time. So what time is that for me? Is that 8:30? What time was that at? 9:30? Yeah, 9:30 I think you're talking about. This is it here. So yeah, so that on that play you got stopped out, but if you got in at 15,008, which I have here, I'm looking at it now, 15,008, it put in a high to 15,039. So that's 20 points. We didn't take profits on that. We didn't take profits on 20 points, Marv. How many contracts were you playing? Because right now, yes, I would understand that if you didn't take profits on that little bit of a pump, yes, you got stopped out. We got 20 points off that. How come we didn't take profits? 15, I'm looking at it correctly. 15,008, 15,009 ran right into supply on the 5-minute time frame at the Bollinger Bands here at 15,036. So we almost got 20 points off that. And again, that's a risky play, right? Here's the reason why, Marv, it's a risky play. Because of the fact that you're playing an up move in a down day, right? So we're playing the move is down today, right? The move's down. So by looking for, you know, these long positions to set up here, you're going against the day's trend. So anytime we're going against the day's trend, what we need to be looking at is I need to take profits a lot smaller. I need to take profits a lot smaller or a lot faster, and I need to play a lot smaller size. What would have signaled you to sell on that was the 5-minute Bollinger Band. That would have given you a good gauge here, right? Let me blow this up so you can really take a look at this, right? Let me make this a little bit bigger here. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. This is perfect. So here's your entry here. Here's your reason why candle, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Marv. Look at right here. This is the reason why candle you wanted to get in. Yeah, see, here's the and this is not just you. A lot of traders do this. A lot of traders do this. A lot of traders will look at a down move. They'll look at the down move and they'll be like, "Oh, we're due for a bounce. We're due for a bounce. Market's not going any lower. We're oversold. We're due for a bounce," or vice versa. Market's overextended. We're due for a pullback. We're due for a pullback. And what happens? You keep trying to catch this falling knife and it keeps going against you. In a downtrend, the moves are going to be less sustainable against a trend. So you're finding more hedge pressure to the upside today than you would be to the downside, right? So for example, here's your play right here, Marv. So if you look at your stop loss here, where I drew this line, that's your stop loss. Here's your pivot. Here's your entry. That's your entry. You're perfect. Yeah, so and that's the thing. People are looking for those areas to bounce off those support and resistances. But guess what? Those supports and those resistances, they're meant to have an idea. If we break through them, now we've got to look for the back test, because an area of support, right? Looking for an area to bounce. An area of support, if it bounces off that area and then loses it, when we bounce again, it's going to act as new resistance, right? So again, you know, we have to stay with the trend. The only time we want to use like a support, right, to play long, let's say for example today was an uptrend and we pulled back into an area of demand, then we're confident going long. But on a day like today, we're in a downtrend. If we're looking to bounce off the supports, we're going to get crushed. What we need to look for on days like today is to let the market bounce into an area of resistance and then short when we get rejected at that area of resistance. I hope that makes sense. So if you look at your play here, here's your pivot, here's your stop loss. This candle is your entry. Look at where the Bollinger Band's at. Look at this Bollinger Band, right? So if we're going to take this scalp, here, we're getting in. You had a perfect entry at 15,008. Boom, 9:35 my time, right? 9:35 my time. You're getting in. Within 5 minutes, we go from a price of 008, which is your entry, all the way up to a price of 023. Okay. Now let's say we hold it 5 more minutes. Where are we going? Right into, boom, the Bollinger Band. We've got to be thinking, I got to sell into this supply. The only reason why we're thinking about selling into those levels of supply is because we're in a downtrend and we're going counter trend. So if this was an uptrend, maybe we hold it and we continue to just ride higher. But since we're going against the trend, we've got to take profits into those areas of resistance versus trying to hold them. Because then what happened was, right, is we put in this bounce and then we got rejected at the Bollinger Band and we came right back down, and this is where you got stopped out. Which is okay. I mean, it's a good stop out, you know, as long as you're not someone who's holding this, you know, oh shit, we're down here, and hoping that comes back. You don't want to play the hoping game. Exactly. Yeah. Instead of a counter trend trade, would it be better to wait for price to close a candle or two above all of the moving averages? Well, you know, in a day like this where we're trending down, the best possible thing would be to completely ignore longs. Just ignore the longs. Just ignore the longs altogether, and let it bounce, and then let it get rejected again. Now, I really wouldn't start looking for a long until later in the day, you know, like after an exhausted move. And then maybe it's like an hour and a half before the market closes. Then we can start looking for those longs. Maybe on that like last end of day kind of spike, right? But you know, right now any pop is getting faded. So if you, and again, like Marv had here, right? He had a good play. It pushes up 2 candles, but the thing is that we're playing upwards in a downtrend, so it got rejected right at its resistance level and came right back down, right? So if we are going to play counter trend because there's a good setup, what we need to be thinking is, I need to take profits fast. When I get green, I just need to get the hell out of it. So like right now, for example, we have a 20 SMA play setting up to the downside, right? But because the market is really going sideways, you know, you have a higher probability of getting just kind of churned, right? Where you're just getting chopped up here, because your stop loss would truly need to be back over 1506, which is 15 points. I don't know if anyone wants to risk that, but you know, 15 points in your entry is, you know, 14,977. And like essentially you would just be looking to try to play this back towards the low of day, which is like in the 50s. So maybe 10-15 points, right? Maybe there's 10 or 15 points here. So for example, like and what I'll do is I'll make the chart very clear so we can kind of watch this play out together, right? I'll just put the 20 and the 200 on the chart. So technically this would be our stop, 14,998. Technically this would be our entry here below 14,977. That's a 20 point stop loss that we're putting in. So someone would have to size appropriately for a 20 point stop loss. Now again, I say this all the time. Everyone loves to play the NQ because you can make a lot of handles. You can snag a lot of points, but no one likes when you're wrong on the NQ. You're giving up 20-25 points. You know, and just kind of looking at the 5-minute chart here, if I was to draw some support in some supply zones, what I would do is I would look at this last recent high where Marv got rejected here at that Bollinger Band. So here's another thing, Marv. If we're looking at, you know, like a chart like this where it's very clean. What the hell's on my chart here? I don't want that. I don't want that. 1 second. I had the VWAP on there. I hate the VWAP. Let's say for example, we're not looking at the big chart that I was looking at a second ago, and we had no idea that the Bollinger Band was sitting there. I would have some idea that there's resistance just based on the fact that if I look at the, you know, just kind of going back to almost the start of the day, we put in this big down move here. When we put in the first down move, we consolidated sideways for the next down move. I'm looking at this candlestick, this candlestick, this candlestick, this candlestick, rejection before the next drop, right? So if I was to do something like this, because this is what my eyes are being drawn to, again, we don't have to make this difficult, guys. We can just, you know, kind of make it very, very simple, right? I want to take, you know, multiple touch points here, put them at this top wick, and I want to say this is my short-term 5-minute supply, right? I would need to get over that in order for us to really have any room, right? And I'm going to show you something here in a minute. So for example, on Marv's play here, on that long position, right? Stop would be here, pivots here, entries here. Where would I be selling for profits at? Where would I want to take profits? There's a short confirming now. Where would I want to take profits at? I want to take profits into my previous area of resistance, right? If this rejected, put in a down move, If I just drag that line across and I'm long here, I need to be selling for profits here. Why? Because I need to be selling for profits in this zone. And here's the play working out as we speak, guys. So if anyone took the 14,977 breakdown, currently trading at the 7s, you're up, you know, went all the way down to the 68s. You got about 8-9 points off that. You can see if it can continue, but again, you know, it might just be a little bit of a wash here and then kind of pop back up. So again, you know, make sure you're taking profits accordingly, just due to the fact that, you know, the later on in the day it gets, the moves tend to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Currently trading at the 68, so you got 10 points on this move now. If you're a 10-point trader here, take profits. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, that's why you have, we're at trading at 63s, guys. So 13, 14 points. Did anyone take that short? 14,977. Did anyone take that short? I'd just snag them. I'd snag them. The profits. 65. So you guys currently got 12 points off that. I'd take profits. Again, I don't want anyone to get screwed up here and you get trapped out. Yeah, it is hard to see it in real time. But the thing is, you know, as the day's progressing, and look at it go, 61s now. Beautiful fucking flush. Did anyone take that? Shit, that was a good move, huh? Did anyone take that? That's what you're looking for on these particular plays, guys. I'm glad it set up in real time so you guys can see it work. Right? We got the close back below the 20. If we know the day's trends down, we're going to ignore the longs, so to speak, or make sure we're taking profits quickly into supply. But you know, ignore the longs, let the short setup set up. This setup here, 10:15 my time, 14,977, consolidated sideways, broke through here, boom, went from 14,977 down to 14,959. Now quickly, if I bring up the big chart again, I kind of scroll this back. Give me a second here. So Marv, remember where we got rejected at that Bollinger Band? Bollinger Bands are going to move around a lot, but look at where we got rejected at, and look at where we drew our own supply zone. You see that? See how we drew our own supply zone here, just shy of that Bollinger Band where we got rejected. So on your play that you got into long, you would have for sure wanted to take profits into your supply zone. So the reason, like how you can get better at seeing it in real time is by marking your charts out before you're ready to take the trade, right? So, you know, if you are looking for that upwards move again, you need to look left of the chart and you need to see where was the last spot we were rejected, and you need to put a supply zone there, and you want to make sure you're taking profits into that supply zone. Again, on this move that set up 14,977, guys, it's getting sucked back up here. If you just kind of look to the left, right, what was acting as support before? So again, the same thing I was giving Marv the example on. If we're looking for a short position here and we haven't made a new low of day, what do I want to do? I want to see where did we bounce off of, right? So if I was to draw a box on the last 2 or 3 spots where we kind of bounced off of, right, and I do something like this, well, look at where we came shy of, guys. Look at the range we're trading in now, right? So doesn't this make sense to be a short-term little demand zone here, right? Is this a range that we've got playing now? So we've got a range that we're playing now. Now, if we want to see a continuation flush, you know, what we would want to see is we would want to see this move get broken through this demand zone, and then you need to see a bounce back into it, consolidate, and then when we come out again, that's when you want to take the next short. Right? So like that's what you would be looking for in the downtrend. Yeah, you know, I mean, as you go along, you know, start drawing those demand zones, or, you know, you can add a Bollinger Band. I mean, again, you know, the way I play the big chart's a little confusing for people, but I've been playing it this way for, you know, almost 7 years, so it's easy for me. I mean, and I know a lot of the guys in Evolution Traders, they've been playing it for a while too. You know, some of these guys have been trading with me for 2 or 3 years now, so it gets easier to read it. You know, I'm just lazy. Like I'm lazy. Like I can do all of this where I'm drawing these demand zones and these supply zones, but it's just too much fucking work. Especially when I'm going through, you know, I'm going through chart after chart. I got to do it for every single chart. I can just bring up the big daddy chart here, and then it's going to give me a good overview. Again, you know, and to all of you guys who are on here watching, who have maybe been watching my videos on these different strategies and stuff, I teach all of this in the Discord community. I've got courses over there. I started up live streaming in the mornings for the guys. And again, I changed everything around, right? So I moved servers recently. I put everything in one centralized location, guys, for less than a cup of coffee a day now. I want this accessible to everyone. I want it accessible to everyone. I was only offering one package before. It was like one lifetime membership. I trimmed it down, added more shit, included the live streams in that for free, and then made it less than a cup of coffee a day. That way, you know, because in the end, my whole goal here is I want 20, 30, 40 traders who are going to have my back, right? Who are going to have my back. What does that mean? I want to be able to get in with these traders on a day in and day out basis, and I want to trade and make money with you guys. Because if you guys are looking at a level, let's say you guys are looking at a chart that necessarily I'm not looking on, you guys can alert me, and hopefully that will put money in my pocket, and vice versa. I might be looking at something that you guys might not see that might put money in your pocket, just like you might find something that might put money in the other guy's pocket, right? I mean, you know, you can have Marv giving David levels and David giving, you know, me levels, and I've got my guys that are giving levels. So it's a real trading environment that can be very good and beneficial, especially when you can learn off other people who are doing it too as well. So if anyone did take the short, I hope you took profits, right? Like I hope you took them. Like don't hold it. But again, you know, this is what ultimately you would be looking for. Downtrend, right? Where was the last breakdown spot? Is going to be boom here, right? If we come up into this area, we would be looking to come back down. We would need to get over 14,998 for us to have any continuation to the upside. So I'll kind of leave that on the chart there and see how that plays out. But just me like looking at it, that's what I would assume. That's what I would assume. And again, if we do break out here to the high side, I'm gonna need to put in a high and then back test and then come back out. Then I would go long. So we can see here how that exactly plays out. But again, as long as your 1 bar stop even still is at 14,998. So I just barely seen that, David. You took 800 bucks today. Hell of a move, bro. Hell of a move. I don't care if it's a demo, sim, prop account. It doesn't matter. You know, as long as you've seen the moves, right? You keep gaining that confidence, because once you start plugging that real money in there, yeah, it doesn't matter. Once you start plugging that real money in there, you got the confidence. You've seen it. You've seen this play out many times before. You know, technical analysis is king, guys. Like I tell my guys when they come into the room, I don't care if you make 20 bucks a day, do that shit 1,000 times. Just do that every day. You know? Well, you know, everyone, I see all these other people making thousands of dollars. Fuck that. Who cares? Are those people paying your bills? You know, are they putting money in your pocket? You know, half the time these traders out here on social media, like all these retailer traders, they care more about what other people think about them. Like they care more about like, well, I don't want to say that I only made $80 today. I don't want to say that I made $50. You know, that looks stupid. To who? It looks stupid to who? Unless someone's putting money in your pocket and paying your bills, do what you got to do. You know, do what you got to do. Don't worry about everyone else. I would rather make $50 a day for the rest of my life, knowing that I'm going to make $50 a day for the rest of my life, than to try to, you know, impress someone else by, you know, telling someone I made a $5,000 trade. Stupid. That's stupid. I'd rather compound that $50 each and every single day. Low and slow, guys. Low and slow. That's the name of the game. I'm going to look at the 2-minute chart really quickly here. Oh, fuck. This is a 2-minute chart on the NQ. Yeah, we're still bearish. Yeah, we're still bearish. You know, drop, pop, reject, drop, pop, reject. I'd look for us to come, you know, down into the 960s on this next run, 950s, and do the same kind of shit. Right? What would change that, right? What would change that if we get over this? That's what you would be looking for. So let's take a look at something else here. We're starting to pop up here again. You know, the downtrend doesn't get broke until we start reclaiming at least 14,985, and then realistically over 998, right? The trend is still down even on the 2-minute chart. And again, if someone is short, like theoretically speaking, if you are short, you're selling on the next new low. And if you were short on our original 14,997 and you were holding runners, now you got stopped out at break even. You see how that works? So let's say, for example, someone had 6 contracts and they took 6 contracts short at 14,997 and you took profits on that 20-point flush down. You're holding 3 contracts, you just got stopped out now on the break even spot. That's how you would read that. That's how you would play that, right? And then you would look for the next one. So this becomes an invalid now because everyone should have been stopped out at break even, or you should have took your profits. I mean, yeah, that was down 20 points. So 2-minute chart is, you know, trying to set up here. But again, you're going to have some resistance at the 996s and 998s. Going back to the 5-minute here. And if you're just a brass balled, you know what, I mean, and you're just holding for regardless, you know, until you get stopped out at your original stop loss. Your original stop loss is 998, right? So you would just essentially sit in this move and kind of hold it, you know, looking for that new low, right, into the 40s. I mean, but again, you know, that takes a lot of willpower because, you know, the entry point here below 7/8 drop down to the 60s. That's 18 points, right? So that 18-point move is very hard to not take profits on, right? Especially when it comes that fast. That's hard. not to take profits on that, at least on half size, right? I'm going to take a look at some of the stocks here and see what's giving the market a push here. Higher low on the 2-minute, yeah. NVIDIA over 486.75 has room to 489. Yeah, basically, I mean, we've created a floor down here. We've put in these lows and we really haven't done anything since. Kind of looking at this floor on Apple here. $178.50s would break the consolidation on Apple to the top side, and anything below 175.50s to the downside. A little bit of a double bottom here on ES. $44.05 on the ES would be breaking the floor that we've been putting in for the last 2 hours. So a couple ways to play that. If the market wants to continue to go lower, you can wait for a close below that, right? Wait for a 5-minute close below that. Take a confirmation of that new low, or you can let it put in a new low, bounce back up into the zone here, right? Get rejected, and when it comes back down the second time, that's when you can take the short. Again, an aggressive scalper is going to take the break of the low of day, but just understand when you take those breaks of low of days like that, like through 44.05, it's going to put in maybe 1, 2, 3 points to the downside. It's going to come right back up, and then it's going to see if this is going to act as an area of resistance, and if it is, the new low is where you really want to get in. So let's see what it does here off of this little 5-minute support zone that we've got building up here. Again, we've been trading in a range on the ES for, for at least a couple of hours. What I'm looking at here on the ES is this zone to the top side as well. So if there's any range traders, right? If there's any range traders, you're buying calls in demand, right? You're buying calls in demand, and you're selling in the middle of the range, and you're shorting at the top of the range. That changes when we break to the top side or we break to the low side. Then bets are off. Now we're looking for continuation to the whichever side we break out of. But if you are a range trader, you are long on the ES right now, right? Like and your stop loss is somewhere below 4406. So a 4-point stop loss here. If we break that, you know, all bets are off. You got to get the hell out of the trade. And if not, you're looking to sell somewhere in the 15s, which would be the middle of the range. Hmm. So looking at the hourly chart here on the ES, putting in a good support system the past 3 hours here, right? Yeah, might not be a bad spot to take a bounce play. Again, you know, this is a consolidation for another continued leg down, but someone looking to scalp. Yeah. So the difference between the lifetime membership and the gold member, lifetime members, you know, it's just one payment. Some people don't like to do multiple payments. It's just a one payment system. And then, you know, the additional thing that lifetime members get, you guys get one-on-one coaching. So like I have a calendar set up in the Discord. You can schedule a call. We can do technical analysis. We can go over mindset. We can go over, you know, we can go over building a trading plan based on your account. And you get to like DM and everything, and I'll answer the questions like live in real time. Gold members have access to everything else but that one-on-one coaching. It's like, I don't know what happened this week, but I had like, so far, I mean, today's Thursday, I had 14 calls this week with people. It's all the same issues too, and it's an easy fix. I don't know what happened this week to people. People get, a lot of traders get, when the market switches, right? When we go from bullish to bearish, a lot of people, they get in their heads. Yeah. So John, if you're just someone who wants to get like the live webinar trading each and every single morning at the market open, and you just want watch list, and you just want the like chat, like the online community chat, yeah, just a regular gold member. But like if you're a little bit more serious of a trader who like you plan on sticking around, because I'll be honest, there's a lot of guys who just want to have someone give them the answers for 1 week, and they want to, you know, make $1 million this week, and you never hear from them again, right? Like you never hear from them again. It's like, what the hell happened, bro? Like you stopped trading, you lost everything, like what happened to you? Right? So like normally the guys who on evolutiontraders.com who sign up for the lifetime package, those guys, like generally speaking, I mean, I have guys that signed up 3.5 years ago. Like those are my top guys. Like I would seriously trust them with like my trading account, like no bullshit. Like I have like 3 guys on there that are like fucking absolutely crushing it, which is great to see. I mean, these guys are taking more money out of the market than I am some days, you know, which is great to see. It's great to see. Because once it clicks, it clicks. You know what I'm saying? Like once it clicks, it clicks. And it's like you don't really need to depend on anyone. You kind of just see the chart on your own, and it's more so of like just the camaraderie and the community after that. Some of the friendships that have been made in that room will be lifelong. I'll tell you that much right now. Will be lifelong. So again, you know, on the ES here, if we do break down the 4406, definitely look for the continuation to the south side, because again, I'm looking at the 1 hour time frame here. You can see the big break, the initial break here where profits should have been taken here at the 200. Then you can see the confirmation. This is just continuation. So again, there's a big difference between continuation and confirmation, right? So confirmation was here. This was your move off the open, and this is just continuation. And now we're going through another period of consolidation, right? And a lot of big words here. You know, and then essentially if we lose it, we would be looking for the next low, right? That's how it would look, you know, if I could draw it up perfectly. But again, if we hold this area and the market does bounce, that's what you would look for. But again, it looks like it's lower, especially going into tomorrow. John, it'll click, man. It'll click. Trust me. It takes people longer than others, but it'll click. You know, I've seen people come into the room and no bullshit, it took them, you know, a year and a half, and then finally it's like, what the hell was I doing the last year and a half? You know, and I've seen other people come in and legitimately it's like 30 days later and these guys are crushing it. Everyone's different. But I'll tell you what, right? What really helps is that, like, when you're trading and you're in a trade or you're looking at an idea and you know that other guys know what the fuck is going on, right? They know what they're doing. They can almost give you clarity, like, hey, this is a great move, you know, the market is going in your favor. Or like, let's say, hey, this was a hell of a move and the market just reversed, we should be stopped out. And you might be thinking, well, no, it's still going. But like someone else kind of gives you that, you know, that like tap on the shoulder. It's like, hey, buddy, it's time to get out of the trade, right? Like, we're done. And it just helps because you learn from other people. I learn all the time too. Like I have guys that have kind of taken my strategy and they've added onto it a little bit. I mean, and they are picking off, you know, plays off the bottom. They're picking off, you know, plays, rejecting at supplies. And I'm like, yeah, man, I didn't even see that. Like, because I wasn't looking for it, you know. Everyone's different. Yeah, that's and honestly, especially this year, I've taken more like uh one-on-one phone calls with people, like, you know, coaching calls with people. There's a lot of people dealing with that, John. A lot of people are dealing with like you know, maybe having some success in the past and then kind of giving it all back, or, you know, fumbling around. The biggest problem that I see, to be honest, is people try to learn a strategy, it doesn't work today, doesn't work tomorrow, and then they jump to another one. Or they look for a reason as to why the indicator's not working, or as a reason to why the market's not doing what they want it to do. Right? It's like you're not even giving yourself enough time, a lot of people, and then it creates a big emotional like roadblock where they're now scared to enter trades, right? Where they don't have confidence in even trusting the setup when they see it. And then, oh, next, you know, at the end of the day, they're, you know, kicking themselves in the ass because it's like, oh, they seen the move, you know, it could have been that, it could have been that. And then, you know, they could have made all this money, but they didn't pull the trigger, right? They didn't pull the trigger. And like, that's why, like in Evolution Traders, or, you know, why I started the Discord, I have like these training exercises depending on what the problem is wrong, because, you know, trust me guys, I've been through all these problems myself in the past. But there's certain exercises that you can do, trading exercises with very, very small size, to help you conquer those emotions and slowly, gradually, you know, size up, right? But there's specific things that we need to look for. Again, if anyone's looking at ES short here, 44.06, if we start to confirm that, maybe we get an end of day washout. I know there's only 2 hours left of the market, but maybe it gives you 5-6 handles there. Yeah, so and normally if that's your problem, you know, if that's your problem, it's an easy fix, but you got to let go. Like you got to let go. You got to break down. You got to come to terms with what you've been doing wrong, because at the end of the day, guys, you know, we all do stuff wrong. Like everyone does. I mean, I make mistakes too all the time, but you know, you have to identify those mistakes, but you have to really, like, you got to let go of the fear of being wrong, right? And here's another point that I'll bring up too, that I see most of us in here, and again, excuse me if there's any ladies in here, but most of us are the fellas, right? So most of us fellas, the more competitive of a background or upbringing that you came from, the harder it is for things to click. Okay, the harder it is for things to click, and it's completely the reality of it. So if you are and I'll just kind of, you know, take a 1-minute rant here, but if you grew up and you played sports and you were competitive, or, you know, you did some type of weightlifting or mixed martial arts, or you played team sports in high school or college or at the next level, and even in your professional careers, right? If you're in a high demand, high pace type of professional career, maybe you're in sales, maybe you're in marketing, maybe you're, you know, something that is mentally taxing where, you know, we have to be right, we cannot be wrong, type of profession, we those people tend to have a little bit harder time coming to terms with we will be wrong, and they want to find something that's going to work every single time. And if it doesn't work every single time, why didn't it work every single time, right? Or, you know, if they find themselves not being profitable, why are they not profitable? They start to question everything else because they're so used to fixated on winning. And here's another one, guys, too, for the fellas. If you had, you know, great success in the women's department, in the ladies department, whether, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are, it could be now, could be 20 years ago, could be 40 years ago. But if you had success in the ladies department where things kind of came naturally easy to you, you also are one that has a tough time accepting, you know, losses come in this business, and a tough time accepting that this is a probabilities based business, right? It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Just like in that department as well. And that's psychological, you know. Also, you know, the kind of emotional attachment to money, right? Everyone's emotional attachment to money is also different. Everyone comes from different financial backgrounds, you know, growing up to adulthood to where we're currently at now. So the bigger of an emotional attachment to money you have, the harder this is to get as well, right? But there's exercises for that, like. And the thing is that no one wants to do them. Nobody does. You know, it's like nobody wants to sit there and do the same thing repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly because it's boring and it sucks and you're not making any money. But think about this. If you go into a high level profession that requires a college degree, do we have to go to college for 4 years? Do we have to go to college for 8? Are some people going to college for 12 years? That's a sacrifice that you have to give up. So why, as a trader, do we expect to come in week 1 and make $20,000? Can it happen? Sure, but you're going to get lucky, and I can guarantee you're going to lose all of it. You're going to lose it all faster than it came. Getting ready to break down the ES here, 4405s, guys. If we do start to lose the 4405s, I'm going to pull up the big chart here just to make sure we're not going to bump our heads into anything else on the 1 hour chart. Yeah, look at this chart on the 1 hour. Look at the big chart on the 1 hour here. So we've come down, we've lost all of this support here. If it does start to lose this, and I would rather this come tomorrow, but again, 4405 might give you 5 handles here to the downside. Let's check the NQ. Yeah, NQ looks good as well, guys. I mean, even though it's down 200 points today, if we start giving up, I'm going to take this off. I have so much on this chart already. If we start to give up, I'm gonna take all of these dotted lines off. If we start to give up the previous hour's lows and we really start to get below 14,942, that's about 20 points away. You'll have a sneaky entry at 48s, potentially to 42s, but anything below 42, guys, into tomorrow, or overnight session, depending on what you guys trade, that's a huge spot there. Yeah, I'm gonna include the low wick. I always include the low wicks. Yeah. Always. Unless it's like something in the pre-market where we get like one of those false prints where the wick is like, you know, size of the Statue of Liberty. But like, yeah, I'm going to include the wicks all the time. So I'm getting a low wick from the low of day, like at around 14,942 on the NQ. So again, a lot of consolidating here. Market's really not doing anything. So if it does decide to give this up towards the end of the day, we could get that last leg down. If there's someone looking to take a trade, you know. But again, this is setting up for a very drastic move to the downside if this confirms into tomorrow. We've essentially got room on the NQ to the 800s, right? 14,833. So we got potentially about another 150 points. If I look at the daily chart, yeah, I mean, look at the daily chart on the NQ. This is shot. This chart is shot. Yeah, we start confirming today's and yesterday's lows. I mean, it's gonna go, guys. It's gonna go quickly too. Yeah, jeez. Well, that sucks. It sucks because I feel like when the market's going higher, everyone's got a smile on their face, right? It's like even when like when we're in a bull market, well, I mean, technically still, we're up on the year, but what I'm saying is the last couple of weeks, right? Last couple of weeks, um, I feel like the sun doesn't shine as bright, right? A lot of people get it. A lot of people get a lot of people get in their feelings, especially, when the market starts pulling back and we don't really know how to handle ourselves, right? But I mean, again, we guys, as traders, we can make money both ways, it's no big deal. I'm just speaking about the masses. It seems like everyone kind of has, excuse the French, but everyone kind of has their shit together when the market's just going up, and then everyone acts confused when the market starts going down. I don't know why that is. It's the same way, guys. If you need to inverse your charts, inverse your charts. Like, for example, guys, if we're looking at the Qs now, like I'm looking at the triple Qs index, it's the same as the futures, obviously, right? It's the same as the futures, obviously, but look at it. What happens if we start to confirm today's lows below 363, potentially coming right back down into the 350s? We've got a good 10 points down. That would absolutely destroy tech names, short-term wise, right? That would be like Amazon losing the 50-day below 131, potentially could start on a next leg down to like 120s, right? That's not really what you want to see from the bull side. But I mean, the way that the market's been going, this market can be up next week. It's like, just take it day by day. Don't try to overanalyze it. Do your homework for tomorrow and then play that as it is. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this level. Is anyone still going to look to take a trade today if we confirm to the short side? $14,942, yeah. Below the 14,942. Yeah. Because we're looking at a strong base, right? The last 4 hours now. I mean, we just started this hour candle, but we're looking at a strong hold here. We put in that low and we've just kind of been basing out here. If we're going to continue to flush, right, that 14, was it the 942s? would have to give it up, and maybe we might get a little bit of a washout. Yeah, if you're profitable today, yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Let's look at the ES here. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, look at the ES. The ES looks shot. I mean, so does the NQ, but like the Bulls, what's sad is did not even put up a fight today, right? Like they did, like the Nvidia earnings, I mean, exploded, and the Bulls literally did not put up a fight. That's how you know that the inside internals are weak. Again, I don't play too much into it, but you know, it's never a good thing when like you have an aggressive gap up like that, just profits erased, right? It's never a good thing. Like that's not healthy. I mean, it's not really giving me a lot of conviction that the Bulls, you know, want to put up a short-term fight. And I would, in my opinion, I would say honestly, for the rest of the remainder of August, I would say price action will probably be like this. You might have 1 or 2 days where you get an aggressive bounce, and then we give it all back, and then we put in a little bit of a consolidation day, and then we go down, and then we go down. Yeah, VIX, you know, Dixie, they're all up. You know, yeah, when you correlate that, you know, especially to big tech, we're gonna be down. So. The market really can't get out of its own way right now. Essentially, you know, the ES and NQ, it's all been trending below its 5-day moving average on a 1 hour time frame all day. Hasn't really even given you a reason to want to get long, you know. This is going to be the move here. That 942's confirmation. What the only thing I'm worried about is they're going to do it to us in the overnight session, boys. I'm going to be asleep and they're going to do it to us. They're going to get us down below that 1492, or the, what is it? Yeah, 14942. They're probably going to do it to us in the overnight session, but in the after hour session. So we'll be looking for the low that gets put in the overnight and pre-market area. And then kind of taking that from there. I mean, we've got room down to the 14.6s, to be completely honest, on the daily time frame. So we still have about another 300 points to go before, you know, any significant area support kind of steps in. But just this definitely 3 days here at the floor, that 14.942 is going to be money. Same thing with the SPY. Like if there's any options traders in here who trade options, look for a confirmation through today's lows, 439. And then if we open up, let's say we do gap down, I would be looking for 437.50. Those would be the two short positions that I would be looking for. So again, guys, we're going to start really ramping it up in Evolution Traders as far as live streams, and as far as the active trading, because I'm a firm believer that, trading live with other people, going over levels in real time is really, really beneficial, because it kind of gives you a good overall perspective, right? Like, for example, Jay, David, you guys might have a different opinion than me, but we can at least see and analyze the chart in real time, and we can make our analysis together, right? So, I mean, it really helps a lot of traders kind of identify these areas. Because, for example, like I forgot if it was yesterday, someone was telling me something about, I don't know what we were talking about, but we were talking about the NQ when we were talking about a level that I was personally looking at as support, and they had it as a level of support too. And it was two completely different like confluences as to how they came up with that level. The main thing is that it doesn't matter how you came up with that level of demand. If it's matching up with my level, or my level matches up with you, that's a strong confluence, and that kind of stuff creates really good traders. It creates really good levels to kind of play off of, because then you kind of have that extra confidence boost to kind of get into the trade. And again, is every trade going to work out? Of course not, right? We might see something that looks like, for example, I'm looking at the NQ, this 14.942. I can get into this. It goes down 10 handles. Boom, market just reverses 100 points. I've seen it happen before. Is that my fault? Of course not. But there's a hell of a good deal, or a hell of a good idea as to why we should take this trade. I mean, clearly here on the daily chart, if we cannot identify that this level, yesterday's lows, as well as today's lows, as well as the 22nd lows, does not look good, I don't know what to tell you guys, right? Like I know my chart's hard to read, but is this a lot of space? There's nothing here. There's nothing here until at least 750s, right? There's at least nothing there for 750s. Trade options on Webull. Will I be able to follow you, or would I need to learn futures? No. I trade futures on the side, because I watch the NQ, right? So I trade options. That's my bread and butter. I've been trading options for over 8 years. So my majority of my money is made on the option side of things. The only reason why I cover futures is because there's a lot of futures traders, and I've been trading futures as of late, the last couple of years. And when I trade options, I was always correlating everything with the triple Qs, right? So if I'm trading Amazon, Tesla, or something like that, I'm watching what are the Qs doing? What are the Qs doing? When I got over to trading options, obviously I'm looking at the future, so I'm looking at NQ. NQ chart is going to look the same as the triple Q chart. It's the same instrument, right? So again, when I look at the NQ, for example, right, we're talking about this 14.933 area. If we lose that tomorrow, expect some of your tech names to start getting washed, like aggressively getting washed, meaning we're going to play short. Like this morning, I played options this morning. Like, I haven't even taken a futures trade today. I wish I would have. I mean, the level that we had, flushed for 200 points, but that's the thing. When you make a little cash on the option side, there's not really a reason to keep pushing it. I traded AMD today, is what I traded. AMD short, I had 105 puts, and then I also traded Nvidia. I had 480 puts, and I also traded Tesla. I had 232.50 puts. All of those were this morning. within the first hour to hour and a half. So the majority of my options trades is going to come between that first 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half. And then from there, I'm kind of all futures after that. And I'm just scanning through the charts as to what's going on the future side of things, because that's going to give a good gauge for my options, guys. Yeah, so every night I'm putting in a watch list for options, and then I just give the levels on, like, the macro levels on the NQ. So, like, for example, if I kind of go in here and I see the watch list from yesterday, we were looking at AMD in the pre-market. We were also looking at Meta. We were looking at Amazon, and we were also looking long, right? So we had levels for longs just due to the fact that the aggressive gap up on the Nvidia earnings, right? So that aggressive gap up from the Nvidia earnings put everything, literally the triple Qs and the SPY and everything, back over its 50-day moving average. I mean, things looked absolutely great to the long side. Guess what happens? Bulls absolutely wet the bed on that. So then once that starts happening, we have to kind of flip the bias, and we need to start looking at, what's exactly breaking down to the downside. So, for example, AMD, right? AMD, if I look at AMD, it was trading as high as 114 in the pre-market, right? So I had this level marked out, this 113.97, let's just call it 114. I was looking at AMD being back over its 50-day moving average, getting over 114, having room to stretch to 115.83, which is $1.83 set amount of room. I would have definitely been long 100% over 114 on AMD. Okay, well, it never got there. So what do I have to look at to the downside? I got to look at yesterday's lows. If the market wants to pull back, that's fine. We'll play ball, right? We'll play ball. So that's why I like to tell people, you can have a bias, you can have an outlook. Like, I came into today thinking long, purely off of what Nvidia did in the pre-market and after hours yesterday to the rest of the market. So we didn't get that. Fine. Let's go ahead and make an adjustment, because as a trader, that's what we need to do, is make adjustments. Let's make an adjustment. Let's look at the previous 2 days lows on AMD. Those previous 2 days lows on AMD was sitting at around 105. So this morning in the live stream with the guys in the Discord, I was calling out that 105 area, that 105.77. I took an early entry at 105.77 off the 1 hour chart. If I pull up the 1 hour chart here on AMD, again, what was I thinking in the pre-market? I was thinking long on AMD, right? Look at AMD on the 1 hour chart, over 114, open skies. I would have loved to take this long. Didn't happen. Now I got to sit on my hands, right? I got to sit on my butt, and I got to wait for something to confirm for me to the downside. And that confirmation to the downside was after the first 30 minutes of the market. We put in this low. This level was called out in not only in the live stream, it was put in the Discord for the guys. 105.77, 105.75 short. Let's go ahead and take that at the top of the hour when we confirm. Not only do we confirm, but we go from a price of 105.73 all the way down to 102.70 in 1 hour. We took $3 off of AMD. This is $100 stock. This is not Nvidia or Tesla. Like, that's an insane move for $100 stock to take $3. I think I didn't even grab the $3. Excuse me. I only took close to $1.50 on 10 contracts, but that was enough. I think the profit on that was decent. It's $564. So $564 in less than an hour. I mean, I tell everyone $500 a day will keep the day job away, right? Then after that, if you see another setup, it's all just about piecing together the day. You take 1 or 2 trades, you make $300 here, $500 there. I mean, you guys, you're piecing together $1,000 a day. And there was not a whole lot of investment that went into that. I mean, the options contracts on AMD are not super sky high. We're talking about like, we're talking basically about like, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. Again, like, I'm not saying that you have to play 10 contracts or anything, but you know. AMD's trying to test these lows here. What's that NQ looking like? Is anyone on that NQ? God, see that the only thing I will beat myself up on, right? Because again, I make mistakes myself. What I am going to beat myself up on is I did not leave at least one runner on AMD. Out of 10 contracts, I didn't leave one. So today, when the market's over and I get off of YouTube and I go through everything, NQ chop still, when I go through everything, the one thing that I'm going to write down in my journal is I was right on my thesis. I was right on the move. I handled my emotions correctly, but I didn't leave a runner. Why didn't I leave a runner? So just right now off the top of my head, something that I'm going to write down in my notebook every day, because I do write down in the notebook every day at least 1 or 2 sentences on how I felt on the day, because I think that's very critical. I will definitely be writing that I did not think the market was going to flush this much. Okay, so even though I could have left 1 or 2 contracts on the table, and I would have probably squeezed out an extra $2.50 on those contracts each. One adjustment that needs to be made is don't think, right? And I've told myself this hundreds of times, don't think. So the main thing is if someone was to ask me, hey, D, why did you not hold a runner? All right, buddy. Yeah. Take care, my man. One of the things that, if asked, why didn't you hold a runner on AMD? Because I did not think that we were going to continue to drop all day. I did not think we are going to continue to drop all day. And off of that, I can pick up on one key word. And that word should be what, guys? What's that one word? Right? That one word is think. That one word is think. I didn't think that the market can go down all day. That's the reason why I did not hold a runner on AMD. And that's not the way to look at it. Because if I was not thinking, right, if I was not thinking about where I thought the market can go, and I just would have been trusting the technical levels on the chart, I would have snagged an extra $2.50 on my move. So, yeah. It's okay to have a bias, but we cannot let our bias control the outcome. Yeah. And I let my bias, what I was thinking, control the outcome. Now, even though it's a winner, right? Even though the trade was an absolute winning trade, I lost money. And as a trader, we always need to identify how we can make more money or what we can do to improve, even if we're doing good things, right? There's always a way to get better. I don't care what you do in life, there's always a way to get better, right? How can you be a better father? How can you be a better husband? How can you be a better wife? How can you be a better employee? How can you be a better trader? How can you be better in your health, right? Here's another thing I really want to stress to everyone too, that I've really been tapping in with lately. Guys, without health, we're nothing. So what are you doing when you're off the charts? What are you doing when you're off the charts? What's going into your body? What are you eating on a daily basis? How much activity are you getting? I don't care if you're 65 years old, guys. Go take a walk around the block 2 or 3 times at the end of the night. Because mentally, up here, up top, if you're not clear mentally, it's very, very hard to not let the emotions get to you. Yeah, 15.013. Yeah, that was the original. That was it. Like that was close to the original spot that I had. Oh, I took it off the chart now. But it was 15.18 or something that I have, so pretty close. I had it in the first live stream this morning. It was like a 15.18 is what I was looking at. There it is. There it is, David. Because it's so it's realistically it's so true. Like it's so true. It's so easy to just get involved here, get lost in the charts, get lost in your cell phone, you know, ignore the people, you know, that are in your lives, surrounding your lives, because you're so fixated on, you know, making money. You got to make money, guys. I'll tell you this: all the money in the world is not going to mean shit if you're unhealthy, if you're sick. You know, it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. Doesn't mean anything. Got to take care of ourselves first, mentally, physically, and financially comes last. So that's the point, right? Like that's why I write in this journal. It doesn't have to. It's not some diary, guys. It's not some. You know, I'm not writing a book over here, but you know, 2 or 3 sentences. How did I feel on a day? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What I did right was not assuming that the market was just going to continue higher today and just me taking along, right? Because I bet you there's some traders out there today that expected the market to go long and they went long off the bell on the dip, like on a first initial type of 5-minute dip or something. They went long and guess what? They got smacked all day. So that's one thing I did good. I came in with a long bias today. However, I was patient. I waited that first 30 minutes for that hour candle to close. I waited for some type of confirmation to show me that the market's going to continue to go down. Those are all good things. The one thing that I could improve on today is I should have held a runner. I should have held a runner, and the reason being, I already just identified that with you guys. You know, I let my personal thoughts control my outcome. You know, don't think. Let the charts tell you when to get out. I legit could have just put a break-even stop on that contract and it would have never got stopped out. So tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day, right? Yeah, so you might what might happen today is, you know, yeah, for today the market might not see a new low. But definitely tomorrow we would have to be looking short tomorrow, especially if we bounce. Like if the NQ bounces even into anything near, you know, 1500, 15 and a half, the market will bounce, right? Because it's like this, right? Like, you know, even if I don't do nothing at all and I just know, you know, like just draw this here, consolidation, right? Leg down, consolidation. If we bounce, I'm looking for rejection spot here tomorrow, and I am 100% short, not only on options, but on the futures through this level here. Now, this is an idea. This is an idea that I had. So this idea, I'm planting the seed in my brain now that if this happens, I'm not even thinking twice about it, because mentally I've already seen it play out. I already drew this up. This is already played out in my mind. So I do not need to think about anything if this happens. Whoa. I do not need to think about anything if that happens tomorrow, right? So yeah, so is this move done for today? Maybe. You know, maybe this is done today. But we definitely cannot deny that that level is solid, right? That level is solid. So if you do get a bounce, and we somehow bulls, you know, wet the bed again tomorrow, and they can't really continue to build, right? I mean, the bulls have a lot of work to do. Like, for example, bulls need to honestly get over 15,250. I'm gonna call an ace, a spade, a spade. If the bulls want my backing and they want my confidence, they're gonna need to get over up here. They're gonna need to show me that they've got some ounce of fight left in them. But any type of bounce, I'll probably ignore off the morning. I got no desire to chase anything tomorrow long. I will tell you that right now. On a Friday, this was a hell of a week. I'm hoping everyone made some good cash this week. I know the guys in Evolution Traders made some great cash this week. And that's what I'll tell them tonight in our nightly meeting, is that if you made money today, you have no sense of urgency to want to be going long on anything where you feel like you need to put your foot on the gas, and no desire to trade to the long side tomorrow. I'll tell you that much right now. Other than like a scalp, like I'm not talking about like, you know, looking for serious moves. Like if there's a little bit of a scalp over a pre-market high and I can take $1, I'll take it. But you know, I've got no personal bias to play this kind of bouncy, choppy up move. I will wait for the rejection and definitely take this short. What is it? 15.18. So 15.18 would put us where? 15.18 would put us almost back to the 50-day moving average on an hour time frame. So what you're talking about would be up here. This is the expected range. That's for tomorrow. Is that what they have us priced in for tomorrow? Yeah. Which I can see, right? Well, like what the heck did I just draw out here, right? Like if we come back up into this range, you know, we could just finish there to start the week. What does that leave me with for Monday? I would need to put in a high over that, back test that, right? Hold, and then come out of it and go long. Or if we don't do that, look for us to come back into that expected range tomorrow. And then next week, look for this. Look for that. But I mean, again, you know, we don't have to get back into that expected range. We can definitely close outside of it. You know, the reason why, if you really look at, you know, look at the, you said 8, what is it? 8.4, right? So I want to point something out. This is the 8.4 mark here. Okay. That's the 8.4 mark. That's a 50 EMA. Look at what happens. Whoops. Look at what happens when we got outside that expected range. The violence that happened, right? So when we lost this area, if they had us priced in and they were expecting this move, this candle was so drastic, because once you get outside those expected moves, you know, once you get extended past those expected moves, price action flies, right? It flies. So, you know, they're ass backwards right now. You know, the chances of this thing bouncing 200 points by the end of the day is slim. But again, you know, crazier shit has happened. So, I mean, that's the reason for the down move today. It's squealed away from them. But I mean, if we're just talking about tomorrow, right, to kind of finish off the week, I could see a bounce back up into this range tomorrow. It probably won't be the easiest to trade, but I can see that. And then I can see next week losing this area. You guys can't see that, but that's what I would see. I would see that, which is going to be completely fine. That's what you would want to see. Like for me, what I want to see is I want to see this bounce. I want to get rejected, and I want to come back down, because I know the violence is going to be there. There's going to be violence. That's what you want as a trader. You want violence. You know, you don't want things to like do what it's been doing the last 3 hours. You don't want it to go up and then come down, and then go up and then come down, and then tease you, break the low and then come up, and then tease you and break the high and then come down. You don't want that. That's where traders have a hard time. You want violence. You want violence. You want to see levels, right? You want to see levels, clear levels like this, right? Clear levels like this of 14,942s, and you want to see violence. You want to see it break through. Yeah, you want that impulsive move as a trader. You know who doesn't want violence? Investors. Investors don't want violence. They want nice and slow. If they're down a little bit, they want it to just, trickle around. If it's moving up, they want it to trickle higher, right? Investor wants things calm. Traders want violence. We want to see clear levels, lines in the sand be snapped to the downside, ceilings be broken through to the upside. That's what we want, because that's where we make our bread and butter. That's where we make our bread and butter. Look at us come down here. If we do start to lose this into power hour here. Again, 942, we've been watching this level for over an hour now. Again, to anyone checking out here, because I'm getting anyone who's checking out, if you guys do want to join the morning live streams, again, that link is in the comment section somewhere. I put it in there. Lifetime members, you guys get access to that one-on-one coaching. You guys get access to the video courses kind of outlining the strategy in depth, access to the technical analysis each and every single day, the daily watch, and so forth and so forth. But that's what we want to see, the 14,942. Yeah, it's moving down to the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band's kind of extending out a little bit. Actually, let's see what's going on the option side. So Tesla below 231. Tesla below 231. If this market flushes, I'm going to take a short on Tesla below 231. Nvidia through previous hours lows here, 482, has room down to 478. I'm actually going to load up contracts on Nvidia. What else? AMD taking out previous hours. They smashed AMD today. Like, they smashed AMD today. Meta just took out previous hours lows here, 289.78. So just to give you guys an example, my guys in the room, you guys know to look for this, right? 289.83, taking out the previous hours lows, you're taking out 289.86, 83s, you're getting in that short position there, comes down about $1.50. You guys just locked in, 80 cents to $1 on that move very, very quickly. That's what my guys are taught to do. They're looking for that. That's why I'm looking for these right now as well. Amazon as well hasn't really done nothing, still under levels of supply here. 132.56 on Amazon, definitely has potential to come back down to 131.90s. 60 cents maybe. This late in the day, I need a little bit of a bigger move than that. Tesla through 231.77 doesn't really have a shit ton of room. $482 short on Nvidia has got some room. I'm going to set an alert on Nvidia there. I'm going to set alert on Nvidia through that 482. Netflix below 410.40s has room to 408. So if we get a little bit of a pull here and we get that final washout here, there's definitely going to be room to make $1 on some of these names very quickly. There's a move on Tesla here coming down. 231.70s. Doesn't have a whole lot of room. Not enough room in Tesla for me. Yeah, this is just not enough room for me though. What's the daily chart on Tesla? It's got to lose a previous day's lows. Yeah, Tesla still's got a little bit of work to do. Pull up NVIDIA's 5-minute time frame. There's the breakdown on NVIDIA through this 50 SMA. I might stab this here. 482.50s. 482.50s here. $482.50 strikes on NVIDIA here. See if the market has just a little bit. That's something I'm interested in here. Now you're gonna get hung up a little bit at 481.72s. So that hour support is still sitting here. Previous hours lows on NVIDIA. That's what I'm watching here. But if NVIDIA can start knocking out 481.80s, that's got a nice move down to 479s. We're gonna see if that can confirm here as we get into the top of the hour. We're gonna see if that can confirm here. Does anyone see why I'm looking at that here on the 1 hour chart? Look at the previous hour's lows. Look at our support system here at the 5 SMA on a 1 hour chart. If we can take this out, we've got a little bit of room to come down. Here we are approaching that level, getting that first breakdown of the previous hour's lows here. Some of you guys who are watching the futures, what's that level doing that we were looking at prior, right? Did we get that breakdown? We got the breakdown there. We're getting this breakdown now of the 942s, currently trading right at it. 39s, 38s. If you're in this move, what you want to see is a quick washout, 10-15 points on these new lows being put in here. If I look at the 5-minute time frame, have broken that level to the downside, but we need to see follow through here. Again, someone's stop loss on this. Again, guys, late in the day, you know, I hate taking trades this late in the freaking day. See, the stop has to be like at 66s. That's a 25-point move. Hopefully you guys can squeeze out something on here. 37s. It's 5 handles. So what you want to see on this particular move here, if it is a little bit of a bounce, you want to see it bounce into this area and then come through again. That's perfect, you know, or not perfect, but that's ideal. What would be perfect is it just washes out 30 points for us right now, right? But again, keep your eye on this level here, the 5 SMA on the 5-minute time frame. Keep your eye on that. Potential to 479 on Nvidia here. It did take out last hour's lows, but it's got that support on the 5. I don't know if it's going to do it here this late in the day. Might have a little bit of juice left. Yeah, it didn't really put in a move that first crack through, right? So again, if we were looking at the 942s, we broke that area, we put in a new low. So again, for a more conservative trader, right? If the 942s was our pivot, we needed to break that pivot. Okay, we needed to break that. Think about it like this. Let's say we're going to war, right? We're going to battle. Do you want to be in the front lines, the first guy with no armor going through, right, making the charge? Or do you want to be in the back and let everyone else, all the other thousands of soldiers in front of you, do the charge, and you want to come in through the back? So think about it like this. If we had the pivot level of the whatever it was, the 942s or 943s, we need that to be broken. That's your first wave, right? Let's break through the walls. Okay, let's sit in the back, and then the new low, which is 938, when that gets confirmed, that's when we take our short position. I'm going to see how that plays out. Now, again, I have guys that take first entry all the time, and sometimes it just goes. But again, if you're not experienced and it does snap back, it can put you in a world of hurt. At least if we're going to go on the second entry and it stalls out, we have, a clear reason. Hey, it stalled out. It should have went. Again, these stocks have to work for us. We do not work for these stocks. We don't sit here in below the candlesticks, in the favor that we want them to. They need to go for us, and they need to go when they're supposed to go, or we get out, right? We don't have time to wait. So the 938 now becomes our entry short. So on a 5-minute time frame, $938 becomes our short. This was our pivot low, 943s. So if I do this one green, just to kind of, signify that this is our entry. Oops. It's actually 937s. So the 943 was our pivot, and now 937 becomes our second entry. So that becomes our entry at 937. And if it doesn't go this time on 937, you're out. You already seen it broke the pivot. It put in that new low. This next time through 937 should give us the move. And if it doesn't give us the move, we don't want any part in it. Remember what I said. We don't want any part in it. These stocks work for us. We don't work for them. So it can do all this bouncing nonsense. The next time it comes through 937, it needs to pay us, and it needs to pay us quick. Not pitter patter around, not go from 37s to 35s and back up to 40s. No, it needs to break 37 and start washing. Start washing. So you ignore this up move here. Again, resistance levels there. Put in a lower high here, put in a lower high here. If this wants to bounce and put in a lower high, this next time through 3/7s is money. Like it needs to go. We don't even want to mess around. Let's see how this wants to play out. It's 943 of 947. So yeah, let me see what the stop would be here. Well, it's going to depend on whichever candle breaks the 3/7s. So whatever candle breaks 3/7s after entry, that candle high is going to be our stop loss. And we do not play around. We don't give it any more room after that. Yeah, so if 937 triggers, whatever candle that is that breaks it, that candle's high becomes our max pain. That becomes our stop loss. That's what I'm looking for. Again, late in the day, you're coming into power hour here. You know, could you see just a massive run up here towards the end of the day? Sure. You know, sure. You know, bulls have given up a lot, down 250 on the futes. You know, the bulls have given up a lot. You know, how much fight do they have left? Because they didn't show us absolutely anything today. I'm looking at the 5-minute. If you want to tighten down your risk, you could use a 2-minute, sure. So if I was to look at the 2-minute, so if I look at the 2-minute here, 937, you know, we need to see which candle breaks the 37s here on a 2-minute. Definitely, I never look at the 1-minute. I'm never looking at the 1-minute. It's just provides too many false moves for me, and even the 2-minute pisses me off sometimes. So here's the move back through the 4/3s. When we come through the 3/7s this time, like, it needs to go. Like, you know, the 43s was the pivot. We put in the new low. If this thing does not get through the 3/7s violently, we've got to get out, right? We've got to get out. So when it goes this time, we want to see it go. Like, that is what it is. We're back down to the 4/3s. We need to see the 37s break. And when we see it break this next time, it's got to go. Any of you guys remember the video I was talking about? Through previous hours lows. See that? 41s to the 79s. Selling half size here, guys, on the NVIDIAs. 30%. Look at the NVIDIA go. What were we looking at on the NVIDIA, guys? Holding that 5 SMA, breaking down through the previous hours lows, the 481s. We had potential to 479s. That's $2. Now we're starting to break. This is the shit that I live for. This is the shit that I live for. What is the NQ doing, guys? We break down that 37s. Or yeah, 37s. We broke it. Currently trading right around 37s. This move needs to go, right? It needs to go. It's not going to sit here and mess around with us all day. You know, back up to the 43. See, that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like on that move there. God darn it, this stupid chart. See, I don't like how we break the new low and then it pitter patters back up. That's not what you want to see when the level was there all day. This level's been here since 8:45 my time in the morning. So now that you get that price break, now it snaps back. That's not what you want to see, right? And that's the only problem with taking these futures plays this late in the day. This late in the day, it does that bullshit, right? That's clearly going to stop. That's clearly going to stop someone out at the 937. Yeah, the Nvidia was nice. That and sometimes, guys, you know, I mean, I'm an options guy, right? I'm an options guy. The options, even though people don't like options because of the you know, premiums and decay, I don't pay attention to none of that stuff. But like with the options, when it does stuff like this, for example, like you're not down so bad, like you can kind of manage it a little bit better. Like on the future side of things, the 937s was the short and it got sucked back up, right, to 5.3s. So that's definitely not what you want to see if you're looking for a short position on the futures. Now again, this candle still has, you know, 2 minutes to close, but the way that it's aggressively pushing back up like this, where we have this wick, is not what you want to see. This potentially could push all the way back into the 64s and over 64.70s. So that's definitely not something that you want with 2 minutes left before this candle closes. What you would need to see is an aggressive wick down here, for this to get chewed back up. But again, if that doesn't happen, that's a dead trade. You'd be looking for the dead cat bounce into tomorrow, right? You'd be looking for the dead cat bounce into tomorrow, as stated like earlier when we were going over getting back inside that expected range, right? Like this, and then to get stalled out in here and then come down through these two levels that we had today tomorrow with a profit potential of, you know, 14,832s as our target. That's what we would be looking for. Because this move coming in here into power hour is probably going to be a reversal bounce. You know, it's probably going to be a reversal bounce. That's a shame. That's an absolute shame. Right, so we're testing this 5 minute support or 5 minute supply zones here. Again, now this level has to get adjusted again. So it's, you know, 32s, but yeah. $32s. We're looking at about 1 minute. We're looking at about one. Yeah, later on, John. Have a good one, buddy. We're looking at about 1 minute until this candle closes here. That's what we're going to be looking for. Got to see what this wants to do here. You know, you bounced off the 3-2s, you reclaimed the 43 original breakout here. New hour candle is going to start forming, so and also just a side note, guys, first two hours of the day are always going to be your sweet spots. You know, trying to find these moves towards the end of the day is tough, is very, very tough. Yeah, this just looks like it's just going to try to bounce back up into some of these upper areas of 14.97s, right? The 70s looks like an area. Again, this is still not out of the woods at all. I mean, bulls are still, you know, they're trapped down here at the bottom. What you know, in order for them to even have any room to kind of stretch, they'd have to get over 75s. 75s probably has about 25 points to the upside here, but nothing doing here. You know, your lower Bollinger Band is sitting down here at 889 now. I don't really know if I have patience to sit here and wait for this. So again, you know, just drawing tool, down move, bounce, down move, bounce, lower high, down move, bounce, lower high. I don't know if there's enough time in the day for that to happen, right? Like, is there enough time in the day for that to actually happen? So just keep your eyes on the bottom level again, but you know, like the way that the market's going, being down already 240, like I can see the market, right? Like I can see the market bouncing 30, 40, 50 points into the close and absolutely doing nothing. Does nothing for the bulls, you know, does nothing for the bears the rest of the day. I think the bears are checked out. They're cashed out on the day already. Like right now, you know, if you were a seller today, you're probably took your profits already. You're gone. So what you're getting now is a little bit of this dead cat bounce. If someone wants to throw on a, you know, a long position and use 43s as a stop, you know, you could definitely do that, or, you know, use 32s as a stop and just try to grind out 10, 15 points. But again, you're reaching, right? That's a reach. Still trading below this 20-day moving average. Again, you know, if anyone from Evolution Traders is took the last 20 play, right? The last 20 play set up at 11.15, went from a price of 71s all the way down to 36s, 40 points there. Grinded you down there, but, you know, 20, 30 points. Looking for that last low. If they break through the 43s and 37s, got there, went down to 32s, and then did this. You know, it is what it is. End of the day here. Again, guys, I'm going to get going here. Been at charts way too long today. I'm already done trading on the day. Took that last NVIDIA options trade. But again, if you guys enjoyed the live stream, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Also, you know, I've been trying to put these live streams out on YouTube for everyone. But, you know, they're mainly dedicated to the guys in the room, which they'll be, you know, uploaded to YouTube at the end of the trading day. So to kind of keep it exclusive to them, so I can just trade with the team during the day and go over these levels. If you guys do want to join, somewhere in the comment section, you guys can see, you know, evolutiontraders.com, become a lifetime member, or you guys can pay the monthly, you know, for less than a cup of coffee. But again, you know, I'd love to see all of you guys on the inside, put in a lot of work on this channel as well in the Discord. And again, if it can help someone out, I'd love to help you guys out, but I'll see you guys all later.